Welcome to the Pixelberry Choices podcast. I'm your host Nirbande, and today we're going to be reviewing Open Heart Third Year Book 3 Chapter 2 More Than Meets the Eye. So, a lot of things to talk about in this chapter. So, first of all, let's talk about the Baz's plot. Like in the last chapter, we see like he's leaving. So, now in this chapter, we know more about this thing. Like he will be going to this facility that is a new facility in Edenbrook under Lillenblom. So he will be working for it, and basically he wants to expand his horizons. He wants to learn more. He just doesn't want to be just stuck with this, diagnostics team. Though he loves it, but he would like to, expand his dimension or horizon, as he said. So he would be leaving for that. So that was one thing, and as I said in my last video that he was totally lost in the diagnostics room, but at the one time we were able to get his attention when Ethan mentioned about Lillian Bloom's awesome technologies. So he was definitely fighting in his mind. He was having this fight like what to do, and finally he came to conclusion and he's leaving. So that's one thing. And the second thing is that we're in this new diagnostics team, so we're still seeing like this thing we're seeing like with Harper and Ethan. Like we were discussing a case, and then it was something related to a flu, and then Ethan and Harper, they started talking about old times, like when they were together, and one time when Harper had a flu and something happened, so main character was left out. So this thing, like nothing more to it. As I said, like maybe Pixelwood is trying to push for it, like Ethan, like to make main character jealous, of course, if Ethan is her love interest. But I don't think it can go further away, because of course Ethan and MC, they have grown this whole time together, so they're almost inseparable, and it can happen now at book 3. It's too far away they have come. Yeah, definitely Ethan and Harper, they have a history, and for the old time's sake they can have conversation, but yeah, main character can feel a little left out in that case. But that's just this thing, but everything would be sorted out at the end. I'm pretty much sure about that. And the next thing to cover, this new patient, and I think his name is Andrew. I forgot his name. There were so many names. So he has a special psychic ability. Like he has some problem, but the thing is that he has psychic ability. So Harper brings the case, and we are so excited and thrilled about this case. So we take this case, and we see really he was also like predicting like Harper and Ethan are exes, and like how we feel. Andrew, like that patient, also tells us about that. So it was really exciting. So we get this diamond scene. We can, you know go to our friends with that patient and have and let him do his this like this his psychic thing with his psychic power, like telling about them, like something supernatural stuff. But we know this is nothing like in this diamond scene. So at the end you will take him to one of your love interests, and then they will tell you like this patient would fail to tell something. For my case, I chose Raphael. So the patient failed to tell Raphael's favorite ice cream. So then we go to this MRI scan, and we see like this patient says one thing like I smell stuff, but this time I wasn't able to smell in case of Raphael or your love interest. So we see like though he meant it metaphorically, but it could be really like he's smelling stuff. So we discuss some medical terms with Ethan, like what could happen, like for instance, at the time of pregnancy, the smelling power increases or something. I really don't know about those medical, terms, but that's what they were saying. So now this case progresses. But before that, some things to mention is that Lillian Bloom now wants this diagnostics team, like there's a vacancy and he wants to fill the vacancy. So he's saying to interview people. Now we interview with Ethan. There's a dimension we can go with Ethan and interview some new members, candidates for the diagnostics team. And the first two, like one was like right out of Hawaii Beach, and the second one was like too much confident. But the third one, I she her name I'm forgetting, but that doctor, like she really got our attention, both our and Ethan's, and we suggest Ethan to appoint her as to fill up Baz's vacancy. And also that that doctor's that doctor's field is also same as Baz's field, so it would be a great addition. And then Ethan says like he will think about this for a long time, and then like he would think about it, he will ponder over it for a little bit, not a long time, for a little bit, and then he will take the decision because this is a really important decision. And then we have this scene with Jackie. Like Jackie interviews us. Like he has been promoted as the chief, so he would be monitoring every intern and everything. So he throws a housewarming party. So we're there. We have some time with our friends. And one thing to tell, like there we have a time with you know Elijah and Sienna, but we did have a time with Aurora too. But I felt like that was the time they could have potentially, like it was not like too sensational scenes with any of your love interests there, like with Bryce, with Rafael, or with Jackie. So they could have given us the option, like we could have chosen Aurora to have some time, but that was not it. So I seriously doubt like how this Aurora's, like I know a lot of guys, a lot of you are waiting for Aurora. A lot of people are waiting for Aurora to have her as the love interest. So I don't know, like if this is going to be happening in the scope of this book or not, but we'll see about that later. So next we focus on this case and we do everything, we go above and beyond, but we're unable to, we fail to solve the case. And then finally what happens is that we we were like in the lounge, we were just sitting back, we're relaxing, we're sleeping, trying to get a nap. And then I remember Aurora and Alicia, they come in. And again, like the way we've been solving this case, like someone says something and then we add them up, like they don't mean to say it. Like I used to watch this, this lawyer, just in, I'm going off the record to just say it, like so there was a TV show in my childhood. So he was a lawyer, so he used to solve cases. So he had a like he had a secretary or partner, like who didn't know much, but his helper sort of, and other people. So at the end of the case, like they would say something like like a metaphorical stuff or something else, like you can win in this game without playing hard. So like, yes, but you just say playing hard. So he would get the clues from there and he would say like, oh, you solved the case. So that's what we've been seeing with this open heart book throughout. Like someone says something, like in the last chapter I think it was Sienna, in this case it is Aurora and Elijah. So that's a really nice thing, like so I just I thought like of this. So now let's so that's so we are finally able to solve the case. Like in the woods some bugs, so that caused it. Then I think there was another name of the disease, and the psychic power we also able to explain it, like it's the smelling power. So there the patient's smelling power got increased and stuff like that. One thing I would like to say though, like yeah, so I understand like how they put it all together, like their smelling power increased, and that's why they were able to say like. But I don't still understand. I still don't understand like how they can have this vision, like like yeah, you can tell whose favorite is what, but how can you tell like who is excess with whom, or who what kind of feeling who's having? So, but still like who is bad and who is good. Anyway, so that's, if you don't guys know about it, you can comment below and let me know, because I don't know really, but it's interesting. It's truly interesting. So finally, we're congratulating that patient and we're saying like he can be back to normal pretty soon. Finally, we have solved this. And then Leland Bloom again enters. Now, before, when Leland Bloom, again, he came to the diagnostics room to tell us that to interview some new candidates for the diagnostics team. Then Ethan is always a bit pessimistic about Leland Bloom, but that time he was like, actually, Leland Bloom, what he said was all good things, all rational things. So Ethan said like maybe Leland Bloom is not that bad as we're thinking, and he is really helping the hospital. But the candidates he sent, the first two were horrible, but that's another thing. So this time Leland Bloom again asks like, again, like our main character's success is this, and again like he has been acting since book 2, since we met him. Like yes, he has this affection toward our character. He's showing like he likes our work ethic, our talent and everything. So then he leaves, and then the patient stops us and asks us like, tells us like to be careful, be aware of this Leland Bloom guy, because he had a vision when Leland Bloom was there, and he says like Leland Bloom, maybe he shows like he is on our main character's side, but he's actually not. So that's an interesting thing. Like, would this vision of that patient, would it come true, and would it be anything like, would it lead to anything at all? So what would it lead to, like what's going to happen, what's going to unfold? So that's really interesting, and this chapter was a really interesting one, I would say, like this psychic thing and stuff like that, and this final vision with Leland Bloom, like predicting Leland Bloom's future in this book. So that happened. So we'll see about that. Book 3, I can't wait for book 3. So that's all, guys. Let me know in the comment section below, how did you feel about this book, and let's discuss in the comment section. And one more thing, the entire next week, I won't be available. My third semester exams are starting. I have practicals, I have internal, external, written exams, and all this stuff. So I won't be able to make videos for the next week, I hope, and some days. So but I will make sure to inform you any news of the new books coming, like Slow Burn or Choices Insiders. But I won't be reviewing weekly books like Foreign Affairs or you know this book, for instance, Open Heart. So but I would get back to them as soon as I finish my exams. So thank you guys for listening in, and comment below about what you think about this book, about this chapter so far. And yeah, check out my channel if you're new. There are lots of contents. If you like it, like the video, subscribe, share the content with your favorite choices, other choices fans, and if you don't like it, then by all means dislike, comment below the ways to improve my videos. What do you think I can do differently to make it better? Or my socials are linked in this channel's about. You can also personally DM me on Instagram to tell me anything, or just to give me suggestions. Thank you guys for listening, and bye. Have a nice day.